I'm Sarah and welcome to my channel, Low-Sal-Life, where we talk about living life with salicylate sensitivity or salicylate intolerance. For those of you that are new to this way of living, it's basically very similar to an allergy where we are not able to eat certain foods or inhale certain things or use certain products on our skin, and we end up with a reaction very similar to an allergy. So today I thought I would start out with one of my favorite recipes. It's just a very simple blush. I've been making this for a couple of years and I thought it was time to make a fresh batch, so I thought I would record it here for you today. Today we're going to use a couple of tools that most people can find in their kitchen. You might have to order a few special items, but those items will stretch out over many different products that you can make. And the first that I'm going to say is the mortar and pestle. I got a stainless steel one. They do come in stone and in wood, and the reason why I like the stainless steel is because if you're using dyes and pigments, it washes out very well. You can also sterilize it. For powders and dry products, bacteria growth isn't really an issue, but let's say you want to use like oils or something, make like a lipstick, you're going to have to worry about sanitation a little bit more carefully. And so I like the stainless steel because I can put this through the dishwasher and I can get a really fine grind on it. So you could make it without this, but I find that it doesn't break up the colors very well, and then when I would put the blush or foundation on my face, I would end up with streaks, which was really discouraging. So you'll also need some teaspoons. I have a half teaspoon and a 1 teaspoon. You could probably use a 1/4 teaspoon or an 1/8 for some really small measurements. I just like to use my little spatula for scooping out the colors. And then I got these off of Amazon. You can find them anywhere. You can also reuse older containers that you might have. These are plastic and they just have a screw top lid, and I like the size because they're perfect for like eyeshadow and blush. I got larger containers to make foundation powder. So those are some other things. You can use whatever container you want. And then I got pigment. So these are, I got I got an orange and a pink color. These are micas, and they are basically ground mineral rock that also have other minerals added to it. So like my pink one has mica, titanium dioxide, iron oxide, and silica. The orange one has titanium dioxide, iron oxide, and mica as well. And these here are also mica. I've got it in a brown and American red, and these both have iron oxides added. And so, I don't know, rust is basically an iron oxide. Once iron is oxidized, it turns to a brown red color. So that's what they're using for these on the mica. There are natural micas and there are lab-made micas, and then there are micas with pigments added. So just make sure before you buy something that you don't get a dye or food coloring or something added. Most of them you want to make sure that you get a cosmetic safe mica. That I always make sure that it's safe for the eyelids. If it's safe for the eyelids, it's safe for the mouth, for lipstick and that kind of thing. The eyes to me are super sensitive, so you want to make sure that you get something safe for that. This is probably one of the most important ingredients for making your own cosmetics, especially I use them in a lot of my powders. It's zinc oxide, and it is a natural product that's used in a lot of sunscreens. So this is the active ingredient in your salicylate-free sunscreen probably. The nice thing about it is that it adds a pigment. It makes your powders opaque, so they're not, it takes away the translucence, so you actually get some coverage. So if you have a little bit of acne that you want covered up, or it makes me sad when people say they want to cover up freckles. That's why I don't use a ton of this stuff, but the zinc oxide will help adding opaqueness. And then I'll show a better picture, but this stuff is just so messy because it's really fine starch, but I will post a better picture of an unopened package. But this is tapioca starch. It's also called tapioca flour, and I think I've seen it as cassava flour. If there's another name for it, I know Australia calls it something different. If you know the other names for tapioca starch, put it in the comments, please. And other options you can use, I've used white flour before, like a really fine white flour, and arrowroot powder is another one. All of those are all like very low allergy. They're all low in salicylate or no salicylates, and they're basically just, if you can imagine like a carrier oil, they're just kind of like a filler to add a little bit of glide in bulk, and it adds a little bit of translucence that you would not get with the zinc oxide. And the last thing that I like to add to my blush versus other cosmetics like eyeshadow, I wouldn't put this on, but I have this kaolin clay. It's also called rose clay, and it's a very pretty pinky brown clay that is really good for your skin. So it can pull out impurities out of your skin. It also helps retain moisture on the skin, and I like it because it adds just a nicer base while these are white or translucent. This here adds a little bit more depth when I'm trying to get a blush. So there's all the ingredients, and let's get started. We're going to start with our mortar, the bowl, and add our first couple of ingredients. So this is the base. I'm going to start with 1 teaspoon of zinc oxide, 2 teaspoons of the tapioca flour, and like I said, you can use arrowroot or any kind of starch that's really fine that's in your, you could probably use corn starch, although I know a lot of people are allergic to corn versus tapioca or arrowroot, so, but any starch will do. 2 teaspoons of that, and then I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of my kaolin or rose clay. Like I said, oh, I didn't mention, this is also really good to control oiliness. Well, a lot of people don't have oiliness on their cheeks like they would a T-zone. That's just another bonus. I don't find it over drying though, because of the clay properties. It doesn't over dry. Okay, so I've got my base here, and it already looks a little tiny bit on the brown side, brown pink side, because of the clay. You want to make sure that you get it really fine. It's a good arm workout. Okay, so I got that pretty well started, and so now you can add your colors. So it's a little intimidating how bright colored this is, but I like to start off very small. I just do like a little spatula amount at a time and add them. Now I look good in corals versus a lot of like plain rose colors. So I almost always use orange in my lipsticks and my blushes and in my foundation powder, whatever it is. I like orange. So anyway, so I'm gonna blend that together. And basically what you wanna do is keep adding until you get your colors. And what I'll do is I'll make, like, this recipe will fill up about 2 or 3 of these. So I'll kind of make 3 different versions, and then I can pick later which one I like, because the ingredients themselves aren't that expensive. I mean, these run anywhere between like $5 and $10 for one of these containers, depending on how much you buy at a time. But they'll last you a long time. Like, I've had these for about 2 years, so I will add the browns and the reds depending on what I am looking for. So like right now I've got a really light color, so I'm going to dish some of that out. Oh, there goes the train. I made a really pale blush. It almost looks like it could be a foundation, but I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna try it on tomorrow morning when I get ready. But I do want to make some darker ones. So I'm going to add some more pink. And this is I'm putting in about probably a little tiny bit less than 1/8 of a teaspoon. And you know, I'm just kind of testing them out. You want to mix them thoroughly before you're all done, but before you add more, just to kind of see where you are with it. So you really don't know. The first time I made this, I put way too much, which is why I'm going very cautiously right now. I put in way too much pink and orange or red or whatever it was, and it was really, really dark. So the way that you fix that is you add more of the zinc oxide, which will dilute the color. Some of the micas have a pigmented, like an iridescence, and some of them don't. These don't have iridescence at all, which is really nice because I got this specifically for this red for lipstick, and I don't really want iridescence on my lips, where it would be okay on a eyeshadow or a bronzer or blush even. Okay, so I'm getting a good red on this. Nice rosy shade. And I like really natural earth tones, so that's one reason why I like adding the brown. And you'll notice when you're using the pestle to grind everything down how the pigments stay really streaky. So that's why it really matters that you do it now in the bowl instead of on your face when you're getting ready for a meeting. Anyway, probably a scant 1/8 of a teaspoon on that. So the cool thing about making your own blush is, first of all, you know what's in it. It's natural and it's super cheap. So I can't believe I used to pay like $25, you know, at some particular counters for a thing of blush, because I'm literally making it with ingredients that I've purchased and have made so much more. I don't remember the price of this. This stuff's like $3 to $5. Probably each one of these are maybe in the $10 range. And like I said, the micas are all about $5. So you're really off to a good start, because you can make so many cosmetics from just these batches. I've made foundation powder, and I've made blush a couple of times. I've made some eyeshadows. So you're really off. You're really doing yourself a favor and your checkbook when you make your own natural. So this one here I made really dark, and it's kind of fun, you know. So anyway, I'll put a picture up of my final product, but I usually just use a blush brush. There's probably a better brush, but this is the one I use, and I am wearing some now, and I hope that you enjoyed that. Feel free to visit my website, low-sal-life.com, and what I am building that site out to be is a place where we can find products that we know are safe or are rated by other people in the same boat as us. And I hope to make a community on that website, and that we can really get the word out on salicylate sensitivity. So it's so powerful not to be sick anymore, and I want people to realize that they don't have to be a victim anymore, and they can take control of their life. Salicylate sensitivity is a very serious thing, and I feel so much better not eating my fruits and veggies. So I just wanted to make this channel to include others who are also in the same journey, or maybe just starting off on their food chemical sensitivity journey. And I just want to say that you're not alone. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you feel a little bit empowered on what you can do for your beauty regime. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye. Hey, I almost forgot, because I don't need 3 of these, and this will be plenty for me for the next 6 months until I make a new batch. If you go to my website, fill out the contact form and put your address in there, I'd be happy to send these out to the first 2 people that contact me. Let's just say US and Canada. You have a lot of other support in Australia and the UK and Norway and Germany where people believe in salicylate sensitivity. And frankly, the US is a little bit behind on our research and support for people with food chemical intolerances. So this is a gift for you. Contact me through the forum, and thanks so much for watching. Bye.